Thanks for joining us for the Member xCite presentation. The Member xCite presentation is informative, interesting to the audience, and showcases the strengths of the presenter as an entrepreneur and their area of expertise. It's not a sales pitch, it's a 10-minute educational and insightful exploration into what they do. And of course, it's exciting.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our xCite presenter today, Col Neate from Col Neate and Associates, to present to us on leadership. Who is watching? Building trust in people, not just a buzzword. As a leader, building trust with employees may be one of the best ways to improve performance. But is it all about leading staff? Col helps people create meaning by connecting to who they are and what they do. As a coach, Col works with teams and businesses to grow their potential by guiding, coaching, and challenging the status quo. Partnering with individuals is where Col operates most effectively. His background encompasses a wide range of initiatives to help people reach their goals. Col has 15 years experience in coaching, training, and change roles, and 12 years experience in startup, strategy, and improvement roles. Col works with clients to build trust and motivates individuals to achieve and work through their challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Col Neate.
And I want to talk, especially like with leadership, who is watching. And I want to start off by using the word trust. It's not a bad way to get off when it comes to leadership. Trust in leadership, do you think that that's a critical aspect or a critical part of employee behaviour, employee output?
Yep.
I'd be surprised if you said anything other than that. Well, what is trust? Trust increases loyalty and willingness to stay within a company. Trust also decreases stress levels, hostility within work environments. Trust overcomes resistance for change. And if you weren't happy with that result, there's 96,500,000 other ones on Google that you can actually refer to. There's numerous different aspects. Now, trust in leadership or building trust in staff, it's not just a buzzword. No, it's building trust with employees. We've got all the best ways to boost employees or boost their performance. No, I'm going to make a call, even if you said no. I'd say it's a critical factor. Leaders drive engagement. Engagement drives performance. Now, low employment or employee engagement. I'm not going to talk about poor communication as one of the reasons. I'm not going to look at understanding the company mission as one of the reasons. I'm not going to look at workload as maybe one of the reasons. What I am going to focus on in the next couple of minutes and the time that I have with you guys is self-leadership. I suppose that's where the point, are your staff, are individuals watching you? You bet they are. Absolutely everything you do as a leader, staff are watching. People are watching. So let's look at this from another lens. If staff are watching you, are you watching you? Are you watching what you can do? So let's talk about investing in self-leadership. First thing that I can think of when I'm talking about self-leadership is, I don't even have time to have lunch. So here, we're jamming it in there, left, right, and centre. How am I going to invest time if I don't even have the time to eat lunch? But self-leadership is a game changer. If we want to be the best versions of ourselves, remember, if we are the best version of ourselves, everyone else is taken. So you might as well have a crack at it yourself. Investing in self-leadership, it helps us think, helps us learn, helps us relate effectively, it optimises our skills, our talents, and our potential. Probably when we're investing in ourselves, it's one part of the system that we're very much involved in that we as individuals can control. And if we don't invest in self-leadership, well, I use this quote: we always do what we've always done and always get what we've always got. Henry Ford, I'm pretty sure that was. only a couple of years ago, almost 100. So it's something that's still pertinent, something that's still relevant now. There's an individual by the name of Daniel Goleman, who's an emotional intelligence expert. He's the author of a book, Emotional Intelligence, and he highlights the value of self-leadership. And it's a quote that sort of really resonated with me. Exceptional leaders distinguish themselves because of superior self-leadership. So basically what it's saying there is every time we speak to ourselves, we're building an internal relationship that can either support us or it can drastically undermine us. So why is it important? Why is self-leadership important as individuals? Well, poor self-leadership has detrimental impact on us as individuals. It impacts on how our brain functions. It impacts on our cognitive and psychological agility, not necessarily ability, but how we can navigate. It impacts on our relationships, our career, and our well-being. The results of which predominantly can lead to, and I've got a list here, underperformance, procrastination, being hard to work with, energy draining, being rigid in your thinking, negativity, being closed-minded, being impatient, competitive, or even toxic. Some of these might be really close to home. Definitely are for me, that's for sure. Thing is, these may not be conscious to you, but others can absolutely see this. Examples of where people can lead themselves poorly. Perfectionism. Overly focusing on our weaknesses. Overly focusing on our limitations. Ignoring our strengths, ignoring our skill sets. Or underestimating them. It's also too being harsh or toxic on yourself. And then neglecting one's own needs. And neglecting one's goals, neglecting one's values. If you go on an airplane and the thing's about to crash, what do they say with the mask that comes down? Put it on yourself first. And something we generally focus on others as opposed to ourselves. So it's not an extensive list, but it gives a bit of an idea. I want to run through a few points that resonate with me when I work with business leaders and business owners about the benefits to invest in self-leadership. How on earth can we lead others if we can't lead ourselves? If you don't appreciate your own strengths, skills and talents, we're less likely to actually appreciate it in others. It's difficult to leverage and consciously apply your strengths if you are unaware of them or you're not open to actually look at them. If you're looking at sustainable peak performance, I think at the moment it's almost we wear being busy as a badge of honor. You know, what's it look like? It's busy, it's really busy. But it's tough to stay on the go. Realistically, a workload's going to reduce anytime soon. Look, work means we're in business. It's a great thing. Work's only going to get busier. So we need to basically make certain that we've got some emotional and mental bandwidth. So we can actually focus on the right things. It's probably our capacity to be present, adaptable and agile. And so we can actually listen to what somebody is saying, not just hearing. I suppose it's one of those things, especially when we listen, if we are thinking about asking that next question to that individual, we're not listening as individuals. Also looking at the positive impact that it has on others. When we lead ourselves well, we're empowered and take greater responsibility and ownership of how present we are to people and the impacts of our behaviours. Being present also lies in the ability to get the other person's she's ready. I knew 10 minutes wasn't going to be long enough. Because it's only a small subject, leadership. But being present lies in the ability to get to the other person's point of view and see things from that person's angle. The other one too that also comes up is, your energy, your mojo. I wrote down here, I've lost my mojo. I'm sure we've all heard, I understand what losing our mojo means. Stressed, tired, bored, overwhelmed. But if positive leaders invest in building and optimising their mojo, they're going to have the emotional energy to meet their professional and personal demands. So what does this mean? You don't waste time on energy draining behaviours like unnecessarily harsh criticism, shaming or self-blaming or self-destructive or destructive habits that rob you of what we're trying to achieve. The other one too, just before I finish up, is our capacity to adapt and to learn. Strong self-leadership really provides the foundation for openness to learning. Individuals that take personal ownership will absolutely be part of lifelong learning. Self-awareness is also critical to enable change, so it makes that unconscious conscious. And probably one of the big things that really resonates with me is self-leaders talk about having a growth mindset. So what is a growth mindset? It's where you see your challenges as opportunities. It's where you're about being open and being curious, especially when you're having interactions with others. It's also where you reflect each day on what you've learned from, but also what hasn't worked. It's also where you stop. It's definitely where you stop seeking approval from others and you identify opportunities to actually share in the successes of your team and others around you. And probably the other one too that I quite like is you start using the word yet more often. That's not my strong point, yet. As opposed to, no, it's just not my strong point. Yeah, it's fine, yet. Gives you something to work on. Look, for me, self-leadership is a tool and it's a skill that you continually need to work on. Building self-leadership helps us fulfill our potential and it has that positive impact on those around us. It leads to greater business, organisational and team success so that individuals can actually control their direction and ensure they're actually not only just capturing their goals, but reaching their goals and exceeding them. And it also ensures that, especially your staff that are watching, are the best selves that actually show up on the day. I suppose the other thing too that I just want to leave you with is acknowledging that no matter how many unexpected obstacles get thrown, that it's time to pivot and create a new way of measuring our progress. We can't change our circumstances, but we can change how we think about it and how we respond to it. Guys, thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Any questions, Nicole? You have 30 seconds.
Yeah, I've got a question.
Hello.
When you're in business and your partner's not in business, it's really hard to get that balance of being an employee versus having your business. And it's like, I go home and I go, it's really hard to manage that mindset if you want to be positive, but when you're dealing with entrepreneurs like you, everyone gets it. How do you, that's, I find, always a struggle when you're at home.
Is that something that others have come up against?
Like your colleagues, there's no boundaries. You're kind of, to me, you're self-employed all the time.
Yeah.
It's not a 9 to 5 thing in the mindset. I do something on Sunday. It's kind of weird. So just do it because I don't have to do it. Like try and keep that motivation and drive that mindset. I find, it's good, but you always know that you're different because you're self-employed.
Absolutely. The guys that said yes. How do you do it? What's one thing that you can actually do?
Set yourself goals, reevaluate those goals time to time, your own personal goals. So you divide it into sections, which probably come into lifestyle, but who would know? You divide it into sections so that your physical side of things, your emotional and mental side of things, and your financial side of things. And then have it so that you've got your steps each day that you do, and then you have the goals to reach from there. So they're the motivating factors that keep driving you. If you don't have those, then all you're doing is sitting on a wheel going round and round and round.
I do have those.
And I think it's at times too, it's acknowledging that that's the case. But it's looking at who can you also draw upon to actually to assist. So unless that way, it may not coming up with a solution. It's just saying that something that you can at least bounce an idea off.
You need to have a business coach or a life coach, one of the two. You need someone accountable for it, because at the end of the day, it's your accountability to someone. And it doesn't matter where you're the CEO of most CEOs of 500 companies throughout the world have a lifestyle or a personal coach for them. They need someone to be accountable to, and that's exactly the same as us. It doesn't matter where you are. It's the same as in business. You need a financial advisor or a business coach, but in life, you actually need a life coach to keep you accountable to where you want to go and set all that up for you. And they become the motivational force for you to be able to keep you on track and all the rest. And you've got something to talk to about your everyday things that you need to talk to, whereas a wife may not be the ideal person to talk to about.
And they're always going to have your best intentions.
True.
So again, they may not question it at times.
But the coach will keep you accountable, like you said, whereas the wife or partner is less likely to be that harsh voice that sometimes you need to hear.
But I think that's one of the key things, especially in talking to a group, is that we're not alone. There's individuals out there who are experiencing exactly those same challenges.
But it's also important to separate.
Yes.
When you talked about being present. So if you're sort of at home and you're distracted by work emails, but I know it's very hard.
It's not distraction. When I'm home, I'm home. But I know that work's always there because I'm self-driven.
Yeah.
Like I don't go to work to get paid. I go to work to create pay. And I think that's always a challenge for self-employed people.
Well, I think the other thing too to be mindful of is if that's one of your strengths. If you overplay it, what is the impact it has on others?
Yeah.